So, we're officially one day away from the Apple event, and I have to say, it's been an exciting roundup of rumors, leaks, and so much more. So, today we're going to cover the last round of rumors and leaks and take a little preview as to what to expect for tomorrow's Apple event. So, let's get started. Starting off with the display, I have to say I'm pretty excited about what's coming up. We've now heard that the iPhone 15s will get the dynamic island, and this is a big leap because we didn't expect this to come to the standard versions as well, because it was exclusive last year to the Pro versions, as well as it's coming with an improved proximity sensor, so which means it should be better than it was on the 14. So I'm very excited to see how this will come out to play for the dynamic island, as well as we're still going to get the same sizes, the 6.1 inch for the standard and Pro 15 Pro, as well as the 6.7 inch for the Plus, as well as the Pro Max, or the Ultra as it's now called. We'll also be getting a frosted glass back with an aluminium frame. The aluminium frame is similar to the one that we had with the iPhone 14 and across the other ranges in the 14 range. So it will be interesting to see how this will be coming, especially now that we've now heard that titanium is going to be used in the newer Pro versions. So for the aluminium, we'll probably still be getting the same colors. We'll be getting black, white, yellow, blue, and maybe orange / coral reef are the predicted rumors that we'll probably get in the iPhone 15 for the standard versions. But now that we've heard that the Pro versions will be getting the titanium frame, we've now heard that it could lead to less damage to the screens due to the curved bezels that protect the phone when it falls. So this would add a more premium and aesthetically pleasing look, in my opinion. So with the titanium chases for the Pro models, which are only exclusive to the Pro models, we will be getting a whole different feel and look. And as well as a titanium frame is light in weight compared to aluminium frame, which would predictably give us less weight, and it's rumored to be 10% decrease in weight from the iPhone 14s that we have. So with this titanium, it has a different finish compared to the aluminium, and that is because it will feel more shiny compared to the aluminium frame that we've had before. Titanium is actually stronger than steel, which could mean that we'll be seeing a lot less dents when it comes to dropping your phone, but we would see more scratches, probably because of the mixing with the oxide layers. So we would probably see more scratches on the phone than dents, but I'm very excited to see how this will play out when it does officially roll out. So the colors that we're going to be getting, you're probably not going to get the flashy colors that you'll get like the coral reef on the 15s or anything flashy like that, because most people that use Pro versions don't really need to flash out that much. So we will be getting jet black, silver, titan gray, which indicates that the frame could be made out of titanium, as well as a dark blue finish. I'm very excited to see how these finishes will handle compared to what we've had before, and as well as testing the durability over the year. So both the 15 and 15 Plus will feature a 48 megapixel main camera, which is something that was only exclusive to the 14 Pro versions, and now it's good to see that we will be getting that for the 15s as the main camera. We also rumored that the new camera is rumored to be an all new Sony image sensor that has an improvement over the sensor used on the iPhone 14 Pro models. This sensor is rumored to be a triple stack design that will enable more accurate and colorful pictures. I'm very excited to see how the color representation of the 15 standard and the 15 Plus will handle in certain lighting conditions, whether it be bright conditions or dark conditions. Would it be an improvement from the 14 Pro versions, or would it be slightly less of an improvement? We'll just have to find out. So for the Pro, this is now where it gets really juicy, because we've heard now that we're rumored to get a periscopic lens, which is something that I am so excited to hear. So basically what it does with the periscopic lens is that light is reflected by an angled mirror, which then is pointed towards the image sensor of the camera, which then shifts the direction of the light and allows for a folded telephoto lens system with improved optical zooming capabilities without the blurriness that comes with a digital zoom. So that's basically how it works. It basically allows you to zoom in much further than you would with the current 3x zoom. So before you could use the 3x zoom, but now with the periscopic lens, we're rumored that we'll be able to use the 6x zoom. I really want to see how good this periscopic lens will be. Will it be an improvement to the 3x zoom? Of course, it would be an improvement, but by how much is the question that I would love to find out. So I can't wait for it to roll out. So I wonder how good 6x would be when it does officially roll out to the Pro versions. So with all these new camera updates, we should see the storage increase exponentially. So now it's rumored that you'll be able to get up to 2 terabytes of storage on this iPhone, which is insane to think that it's double the amount that you could get now. 2 terabytes is literally so much, but you would expect that to happen because with all these large amounts of files, it should take a lot more storage. So having that extra storage would allow you to do more and would only be an added bonus towards you. So moving on to the chips, we are expected to get the A16 Bionic chip standard for the standard versions of the iPhone 15. That is the 15 and the 15 Plus. So we would probably see a slight improvement compared to the chips that we have on the iPhone 14 Pro versions on the A16. So I would be happy to see an improvement for the standard versions, or they might be on par. So that will be something that we'll have to test out when it does officially roll out for the standard versions as well as the Pros. So with the Pros, we're expected to get the new and improved A17 Bionic chip, which is rumored to be the main chip for the iPhone 15 Pro and Ultra. It's also rumored that it will be manufactured by a 3nm process, which theoretically would increase the power and efficiency that comes out of the chip. So we would be seeing an increase in power that we didn't have before. TSMC has been working on perfecting the 3nm process for some time now, and the technology is expected to boost out 10 to 15% of more processing power than we did in the A16 Bionic chip. And it also reduces power consumption, which is an added bonus to having this new 3nm process installed onto the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max models, or Ultra as you like to call it. So because this process is so expensive to do, this will only be exclusive to the iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max models. And along with the chip, we should be getting a 6-core CPU and a 6-core GPU, which is 1 GPU core more than what we had in the A16 Bionic chip. So what does adding an extra GPU core do? Well, it enhances the graphics processing capabilities, which result in a better visual quality in applications that rely on GPU acceleration. So on the single core, we are rumored to be having 3,269 compared to the 2,514 on the A16 and 7,666 on the multi-core compared to 6,361, where you see the increased performance mainly on the multi-core. So let's now talk about the battery life. So now it's rumored that Apple will incorporate a new technique, which is a 3-stack layering technique for the batteries, which should give you added bonus in terms of battery life. So roughly now you could get 23 to 29 hours of battery life. So now hopefully we'll be able to get even more power out of our phones, which will enable us to do more on a daily basis than what we would normally do in terms of charge. Even without increasing the size of the battery, the 3nm process should be able to extract more battery life out of the phones. And according to an article by the Economic Daily News that claims that Apple will use more efficiency display drivers via 28nm chip down from 40 nanometers, which should give you an improved battery experience from this iPhone 15 that is coming out. So like with all things, there are downsides to using this new 3-stacked layers architecture. So with the denseness of the battery architecture, it also increases the temperature. So once the temperature increases, it means that your batteries would run a bit hot. And we already know that Apple batteries run a bit warm already. So that would mean that Apple would need to build a battery architecture that is able to deal with the increase in thermal energy. There is a source that claims that it won't do much damage in terms of catching on fire, so we should not expect that to happen. So as for charging, we could see an increase of 35 watts to what we already have on the 20-watt charger. This would mean that we would be able to get much better charging speeds than we would before. So which means that even on a night out when you don't charge your phone and you just plug it in, within just over an hour you should be able to get it's up to 100%, because with the S23 Ultra you are able to get it with just under an hour, and that is 45 watts. So here's a rumor chart on how the batteries are going to be stacked up against each other from the 14 to the 15 and each model, and you can just see that the batteries will be able to draw out a lot more power than they did before. So I'm excited to see how that will turn out and if it will actually be true, because these are just rumors but they're not actually confirmed as how much power will be able to be drawn out of these batteries just yet. Let's now move on to the USB-C. So USB-C will be coming to all the models, and I have to say that I'm excited to see USB-C finally coming out to the iPhone ranges. Having a USB-C charging point, especially if it's USB-C 3.0, that would be much better, because it would allow you to have faster charging speeds than you would with 2.0. And I hope to see that Apple incorporates the 3.0 instead of the 2.0 onto the iPhone ranges. But it will be interesting to see which exact one would they put. Would they put a 2.0 which will be slightly cheaper, or would they be able to use a 3.0? So that would be interesting to find out, like which one would be used. Or would the standard versions have the 2.0 and the Pro versions have the 3.0? So it will be very interesting to see how Apple's gonna go about that with the USB-C charging point. But with the USB-C, I see that Apple might have a problem now with having to sell it, because now with Samsung devices, they obviously use USB-C. So it might be a loss to them, because now they might not be able to be like, okay, now we have our own incorporated charging point that you have to use. So now you have to go and buy from us. But as well as you can just find a cheap one from Samsung or somewhere else, a USB-C, now you can just plug it in. But it will only be on the iPhone 15s, and once they filter out, we'll be able to use them more. But for now, we just have to stick with what we have, which is the Lightning, until you upgrade to the 15 and so on and so on. So I'll be excited to see how the USB-C works out in the near future. I made a tweet on this action button and I got literally roasted in the comments. And ever since then, I thought it wasn't going to happen until now. Now it's rumored that we're actually going to have an action button on the iPhone 15, which would probably be customizable. I'm interested to see how it would work, because we have seen a bit of code in iOS 17 that is alluding to the fact that we might be able to use shortcuts on this, like open apps and use voice commands and turn off D&D mode. So I'm interested to see how this will work out from a workflow perspective. Would it be like more of a shortcut tool, or would it be more of a accessibility tool? So I'm very excited to see how the action button will work out when it does finally release. So we're expected to get the standard iPhone 15 for $799, as well as the iPhone 15 Plus for $899, as well as now when we move on to the Pro versions, we should be getting one for $1,009, which is about 18,000 Rand in South Africa, as well as an iPhone Pro Max, which should be starting at $1,300, which is quite a lot for these phones. And we would see a decrease in price for the iPhone 14 and all the other models that are currently being sold at the moment. So leading up to this, it might now also be the perfect time to get the other phones if you don't have the budget for the new iPhones. You don't always have to get the new iPhones, but you just need to get what is able to work in your own workflow and what is able to do what you needed to do. So that is what we need to see. I'm excited to see what's going to be happening tomorrow, and I hope you guys are too. There's a lot of new features and a lot of new products that are going to be released, and we will be doing a sound roundup video to round everything off of what has happened to this week. So it's been Fari, and I'll see you guys in the next one.